Welcome once again, guys. It's breaking news. Everybody the world over has probably seen the viral video of world-renowned javelin thrower Anderson Peters beaten brutally by 5 or 6 guys and pummeled to the ground and thrown off a vessel in Grenada. All of this happened around the carnival festivities in Grenada, and after him receiving rousing acceptance by fellow Grenadians, including the Prime Minister of Grenada, recently elected Deacon Mitchell. Whatever your opinion on the matter, it is quite clear that under no circumstances something like that should be allowed to happen. And if it happens, there must be consequences on many levels for what has happened. Apparently, the boat came up from Trinidad to offer cruises around the carnival season. Apparently, there was some dispute at the end of a cruise between Anderson, his brother, and the workers on the boat. The policy of the boat after returning from a cruise is that everyone should disembark from the boat so that they can take care of the necessary cleaning and prepare for the next cruise. However, apparently, Anderson and his brother intended to stay on the boat or requested to stay on the boat because they had some friends who was going to join them for the second cruise. That sort of broke down, and there was some sort of dispute, between Anderson, his brother, and the workers on the boat. What we see in the viral video is Anderson Peters being brutally beaten and pummeled to the ground, after which the fight basically came to a pause. And it seems to me that a couple of Grenadians or people who were waiting on the second cruise came on the boat to help assist Anderson to get off the boat after he was beaten. However, one of the guys who was involved in the fight, one of the workers, I guess in the heat of the moment, still kind of, upset about the fight, decided to push Anderson overboard. And that, I think, was a very, very disturbing decision. Irregardless of what transpired before the fight, and whatever your take may be on this situation, one thing is clear, that the operators of the boat has a responsibility to take care of its patrons and has a responsibility to, in a very amicable way, try to negotiate any conflict that may arise. That is actually part of, the sort of training you should have when you're running a boat like that and you're in the business of customer service, especially around a carnival season where people might be a little inebriated. It's a festive atmosphere. People might get a little wild. That happens. You have to show some sort of understanding and how to deal with people like that. I'm sure they've had numerous situations, and even one of the people were saying that there were 3 fights on the boat prior to the Anderson situation. So I think the handling of the situation is quite clear that the workers on the boat did not handle it properly. First and foremost, we have to understand that the owners and operators of the boat are in Grenada as guests of the Grenadian people to provide a service and make money providing that service. I think the problem is that the operators of the boat did not have the proper training, understanding how to deal with situations like that. They had a responsibility to take care of their patrons under any circumstances. It's not even just about an Anderson Peters. Any other reveler who got into a confrontation with them and had the same result, everybody would have been upset about it. And it's hard to find excuses because this was done right across the street from a police precinct. So if you were having a major problem with a patron who might have been belligerent and doesn't want to get off the boat, you have 2 minutes, if that much, to walk across the street to the police precinct and said, look, we're having a problem with a patron. He or she doesn't want to get off the boat. Can we have some assistance in getting them to disembark? That would have been an easy way to deal with the situation and all the problems that occurred would have been avoided. At the end of the day, no one wins here, because you have a situation where Anderson Peter, the situation could have been worse. He could have been most severely hurt. On top of that, we don't know. This also may affect his ability to perform in upcoming events, which I'm sure, would impact him negatively. Also, I mean, the owners and operators of the boat, here we have, they couldn't go on another cruise. They lost tons of money. I'm sure the owners are unhappy about that, so something. That's why a lot of the times when these situations arise, we have to understand and we have to think about the consequences of our actions before we act impulsively and create situations like that. Now, I know for sure the owners of the boat are not going to be happy with the operators of the boat, because here you are, you've brought liability to them, and even the operators, they've inconvenienced themselves. I'm sure there might be issues with their salary and stuff like that. So, all in all, no one really wins. Hopefully, some sort of negotiated settlement in the interest of all can take place, without too much litigation, which involves so many lawyers and just pretty much, the money that probably would have made during the season would have to be now spent in taking care of legal matters. You see? So, hey, as I said, it is a continuing investigation, but that viral video obviously does not work in the favor of the operators of the boat, especially seeing that they have a responsibility to take care of their patrons, and they're dealing with patrons who might be a little liquored up, who might be a little belligerent, and you would think that is something that they should have experience in dealing with. The way they dealt with it is obviously not the way to deal with it. It's horrible customer service, and for things to end like that, it's not a good look at all. At the end of the day, there must be consequences for their actions, and hopefully this can be used as a learning experience, so that going forward, these things should never be allowed to happen again, and measures are in place to ensure that they do not happen again.